Welcome to Raising OKC Kids, Conversations with Metro Family in Oklahoma City. I'm Erin Page, and joining me today is Dr. Tabatha Carr, the founder of local business Good Girl Chocolate. Welcome, Dr. T. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited about our conversation.
Me too. There's nothing better to talk about than chocolate, so
Right?
I am here for this. But before we get started, I do want to tell our listeners a little bit more about you. Dr. Tabatha Carr is on a mission to educate women on living life to the fullest. In addition to experience facing her own health challenges, Dr. Carr holds a bachelor's degree in science and a master's degree in health administration from Oklahoma City University. She also studied naturopathy at Trinity School of Natural Health to harness the powers of nature and science together. In 2018, she founded Good Girl Chocolate, providing products that are gluten-free, dairy-free, and naturally sweetened and delicious. And those products have been featured in the Grammy's Gifting Lounge and on QVC. So let's start, Dr. T, with telling us about the inspiration behind Good Girl Chocolate. And I know a lot of your inspiration came from your own health challenges, and those have really played into creating this thriving business.
Oh, yeah. My health challenges started at an early age. When I was 16 years old, I was put on my very first blood pressure pill. And
Mm,
I remember that day. I remember asking the doctor, because I didn't understand, why am I being put on this pill, that adults take? And she said, so you don't have a stroke at the age of 30.
mm.
And by the time I was 30, I was on three different blood pressure pills. And that third one was to protect my kidneys from the first one.
Mm.
I went on to have blood sugar problems, panic attacks. I started having hormonal challenges that threatened my ability to have children. And the doctor presented me with a couple of options. She said surgery or medication. And I was like, no, I'm not doing any of those because I haven't had children yet. And my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, first cousins, they all had hysterectomies by the time they were 40,
Oh, wow.
all of them. And they all had kids. So when they were having these problems, and cycle problems and growths and being on a cycle for 3 months, the doctor, they went by the doctor's advice to have a hysterectomy. And I didn't have kids. And I said, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. But within 30 days, after basically changing my diet, supplements, choosing the right supplements for my body, my cycle stopped. Within 9 months, I had lost 80 pounds. Okay. And that's actually when I decided to go back to school to study naturopathy because I knew there were women out there who were going through the same thing I was going through, whether it's blood pressure, stress, the panic attacks. I remember having my first panic attack at the age of 29.
Mm.
You know, I knew there were women out there suffering through the same things I was suffering through. So it was important for me to get educated. And really, that's how it all started. And when I was on a raw diet, trying to get better, I started making chocolate because after eating food that was raw, I was like, how do I get this taste out of my mouth?
I need some chocolate.
Chocolate. So I started making raw chocolate. I started, melting the cacao butter on my stove to like 112 degrees and getting the cacao powder or the cocoa powder, or however you pronounce it, and the raw agave and all the natural sweeteners, and just started experimenting with chocolate. And this was like 15 years ago. And I kept it to myself until 2017. And that is when I presented my chocolate at the Texas Women's Conference, by the way, to QVC, and they said, "This is the best plant-based chocolate we have ever tasted." That was like my confirmation. And then, boom, 6 months later in 2018, I was in Penn Square Mall selling Good Girl chocolate.
That is incredible. And I love that you have become a scientist along the way. I mean, this is a very scientific process that you went through just for yourself, like you were saying on your stovetop, and now you have expanded that into what you're doing every day, making chocolate.
Yes.
Tell us more first about how you're doing today, health wise, and on this journey toward really loving yourself, which I know has been key for you. And then what advice the rest of us can glean from that about loving our bodies and how that makes a positive impact on our kids.
Well, I feel good. Embracing self-love is a powerful journey, and I'm doing well. I'm doing very well on this path today. And I would say to the mom listeners, my advice is to just recognize the incredible impact that you have on your children and that you have on loving your children. And when they see you embracing yourself, they're going to absorb that positive messaging and embrace themselves. So I love this version of me. This version of me understands her self-worth, values herself, and it's just crucial to remember that our kids are really keen observers, and they see what we're doing. They hear everything we say, and just by showing them the beauty of self-love, we're not just nurturing ourselves, but we're also shaping them and shaping their future.
I have struggled with self love and self worth my whole life. And I don't think it was until I became a mom that I really understood that it's not just about me, it's about my kids. It's exactly what you're saying. They are watching me, and how do I want them to feel about themselves when they're adults? And that for me was really, I'm still not great at it, but I'm
Uh-huh.
better. And so they have really inspired me to get better about that.
Yeah, and it starts when we're kids. And because I was an overweight child, an overweight teenager, on those blood pressure pills, that's when it started. That's when the self-doubt started. That's when the low self-esteem started. That's the thinking of me thinking that I'm not enough. It all starts when you're a child. And that's why it's just so important that you catch it early. You catch it early. You influence them or start that positive, influential experience early.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back to you in your house at your stovetop. You have from the beginning made your products with love and care. They are handmade. They still are now, even though you're looking at a much bigger scale than you were originally. Tell us more about this process from bean to bar that your products go through.
We have so much fun in the factory making chocolate. So, what bean to bar means is basically we are farm to table. So we actually start with the cocoa bean. We roast and grind the cocoa beans into the chocolate. It is a 3-day process. And what's really unique is we get to control all the ingredients. Like we know what's in the chocolate. We get to control how it tastes, the taste profile, how much sugar is in it. We sweeten it with coconut sugar. It is dairy free, it's gluten free, it's soy free, it's non-GMO, it's made with organic ingredients. It's really, really the perfect chocolate. And I am so, so proud of it. We have a range of flavors from a 35% sweet brownie batter to this bold 70% dark, like deep dark chocolate, which is delicious. And we have truffles. I'm excited. We moved into a larger location in July, and we are on our way to this nationwide takeover.
Absolutely. And I'll be right there with you tasting all of the chocolate
Come
along the
on,
way.
girl.
We've talked about this a little bit, but tell us your most memorable moments since you began the company in 2018.
I have several. I have several memorable moments from the Grammys. Okay. Actually going to the Grammys, being in the gifting suite and having the opportunity to meet all of the performers, all of the presenters. And we've been in the official Grammys gift bag twice. Being a Beyonce grant recipient, um, Whole Foods pitch competition winner. I mean, come on. We were in a pitch competition and we won over everyone in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And Whole Foods is my favorite store, of course. And just seeing my chocolate on the shelf, it's like, pinch me. I cannot believe this. That's my chocolate. I come from making chocolate for myself on my stovetop to being a brand, in Whole Foods Market. And then QVC. This is a nostalgic feeling, QVC, because me and my mom, we watched QVC as a child. I mean, she would always be on the QVC channel, okay? And we would just be sitting on the couch, and my mom, just like I am, my mom is a great cook. My grandmother is a great cook, and me and my mother, we like gadgets. So she would be ordering all kind of cooking gadgets on QVC. So she's passed that down to me. So now I'm ordering all kind. My her kitchen and my kitchen, we have every kind of gadget you can think of. But premiering on QVC, that was a dream come true. It is so many to name. I know I'm missing some. I know
That's
I'm
a
missing.
lot. That's a lot of memorable moments in a short amount of time. And it has been really fun to watch all of your very, very well-deserved successes.
Thank you.
So on kind of a sad note, there have been a lot of restaurants and small businesses we've seen closing in the metro, maybe even more over the past couple of months than we really even saw during the pandemic. So this is concerning to a lot of us. What does it mean to you when community members intentionally make their purchases from locally owned businesses? And do you think this actually makes a difference in the overall economy of our city?
It makes a significant impact, because when you choose to support local businesses, it goes beyond that one business or that one transaction. And by patronizing a local business, you're essentially fostering this like ripple effect throughout the community, because many of the businesses, especially the food industry, they're sourcing their raw materials from other Oklahoma owned, Oklahoma made companies. So when you support us or when you support a business, it's like you are supporting a network of businesses right here in the great state of Oklahoma. And it's just not about that transaction, too. You got to think about keeping those dollars circulating in Oklahoma. It strengthens our economy. It bolsters the job opportunities, and it contributes to our nonprofits and our charities. Because when you think about it, it's those organizations that are coming to the local businesses, when they are doing their fundraising. So it's creating a holistic and interconnected community. When you support just one local business, it's like you're supporting so many more. So I encourage, folks, support local. We need you. We need the support.
That's such a good perspective, and I don't know that I really stopped to think about those ripple effects that
Mhm.
do happen when you make a singular purchase. For me, I often get caught up in like, "Oh, this feels so hopeless right now," and I'm so sad at some of my favorite local businesses that have closed. So sometimes it feels like we can't really make a difference. So thank you for reminding us that we can, and even a single purchase at a time, we
Mhm.
really are creating those ripple effects.
You are. Yeah.
So Valentine's Day, of course, is coming up. Tell us where listeners can purchase your products. You've told us a little bit about some of your products, but I'd love to know if you have a personal favorite.
Oh, do I? Well, we are in downtown Oklahoma City right now. We are closed to the public. You can still order Good Girl Chocolate on goodgirlchocolate.com. I encourage you to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, because when we do pop-ups and when we do open our doors, we will let everyone know that we're open and we are ready for Valentine's Day. As far as my favorite, of course, they are all my favorite because I just love chocolate, whether it's sweet chocolate, dark chocolate. Um, as a child, I loved peanut butter cups and we're peanut free. So I created a chocolate that tastes like an adult peanut butter cup. It's made from almond butter, and we make our own almond butter too. So we make everything from scratch. It tastes just like a peanut butter cup. It is delicious. So my favorite is the almond praline. Our customer's favorite is caramel cake, which is one that we took to the Grammys and sampled out the first time we were at the Grammys. And then the pecan fudge, the Southern pecan fudge, is a customer favorite. But I get emails all the time and reviews back that say, we like them all. And I created them to where you don't have to just pick out the yucky flavors like you do sometimes when you buy assorted boxes of chocolate. You know, all of mine are caramely and nutty. It's the good stuff. Nothing but nuts, nuts, nuts. We're using cashews, we're using almonds, we're using walnuts. Our candied walnut brownie has candied walnuts, okay, on the back of it.
So
So
good.
yeah, I'm a nut fan. And anything with nuts is an A plus in my book.
I love it. That candied walnut brownie is incredible. That so far, that's my favorite, but I've got a lot more tasting to do.
Oh yeah, we need to get you some more
And I will say that the ordering process on your website is super easy. The products come really quickly. I was able to give some to family and friends for the holidays. I got rave reviews about all the flavors. Um, the extra dark chocolate that you were talking about, I got exceptional rave reviews on that. I think that's my next taste that I need to get for myself. And there's a coconut.
coconut pecan scotchy, our
Yes.
2021 Good Food Award finalist.
Yes. And I have a dear friend who is gluten free, and she's also a dietitian. She's a hobbyist baker. So she was over the moon about that bar. That was her favorite.
I'm so
They're all
excited.
good. Order all of them.
All of them. You want to taste them all. Seriously. That's why we have them in what's called our Grammy box, because the second time for the Grammys, we presented the performers and presenters with the Grammy box of chocolate. So they got the brownie batter, they got the candied walnut. We actually launched the candied walnut at the Grammys. That's how we launched it. The fudge with almonds, the coconut pecan scotchy. So they got each one in their gift box. So we do have that available on the website. I think that's what you got is the Grammy boxes. Yeah.
So, so good. Okay, Dr. T, as we wrap up our conversation today, you have been on this health and wellness journey for most of your life. And I know that it's important to you to help empower, especially other women, to take care of and love themselves. So, what's your top message for our parent listeners about prioritizing their own health and wellness this year?
When I look back at myself 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't have said this, but trust and believe when I tell you what your life looks like today is a result of your daily habits. So what your life looks like 20 years from now is a direct result of what you are doing today. That's why it's just so important to just not just nourish your body physically, but also nourish your mind, nourish your spirit. It's about not just the things we eat, but it's about the things we are listening to. It's about the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, the things we're reading. It's about all of this. And it's just so important, if you want to feel good later on in life and just minimize, the aging process. We all want to turn back the hands of time, right?
Yes.
Take care of yourself right now, and then you will age gracefully. I mean, what do they say? You're aging like fine wine. I don't know about you, but that's how I want to age. I want to age like fine wine.
Absolutely. While eating chocolate.
While eating chocolate. There you go, because it all goes together.
That's right. That's right. That's such a good reminder, I think, for all of us, especially as we're in the beginning stages of this new year. And I know as a mom, I often think about wanting my kids to love themselves for who they are, wanting them to have a sense of the importance of health and wellness. But sometimes I forget that that starts with me. And that means I have to make the intentional choices. I have to model that for them. Like you said, not just regarding my physical health and wellness, but my mental health and wellness too. So good reminders for parents that it's okay to prioritize ourselves in those ways. And that is going to benefit our kids in the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It will. And hey, you always want to feel good. You want to look good. You want to have more energy. And it starts by how we are treating ourselves and what we're putting in our body.
Absolutely. Such a good reminder. And thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. T. This has been such a fun conversation, such an empowering conversation. I appreciate you being here and really helping all of us moms, especially think about how to love ourselves better this year.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And everyone, go eat chocolate.
Yes, go eat lots and lots of chocolate that you don't have to feel guilty about.
Yes, you can feel great about it. Thanks everyone for listening. Join us next time on Raising OKC Kids.